President Biden is imposing new sanctions on the Cuban regime. It's in response to the violent quelling of recent anti-government protests on the island. Meanwhile, some boaters in Florida will launch a flotilla towards Cuba this morning in a show of solidarity. Manuel Bojoquez is in Miami. Manuel, good morning. What are they planning?
Well, good morning. We're not yet seeing the dozens of boaters the organizers were hoping to see, but the boaters that are out here at this marina say they will head to Key West, check in with the Coast Guard, and then sail towards Cuba, where they plan to show their support with fireworks and Chinese lanterns. Many have shown their support for protesters in Cuba on the waters off Miami. But now organizers of the flotilla say they'll head to 15 nautical miles from Havana, which would be international waters, as they make a show of support for the Cuban people. Captain Adam Shammy with the U.S. Coast Guard says it's legal, but crossing into Cuban waters is not and can incur fines and prison time. There's also the weather.
What might seem like it's pretty safe waters just a few miles from shore, when you're 50 miles from shore, can look very differently.
The planned trip comes as the Biden administration announced new sanctions on Álvaro López Miera, the Cuban Minister of Defense, as well as the Cuban Interior Ministry Special Brigade, for repressing the pro-democracy protests in Cuba that began July 11th. There are reports of possibly hundreds detained since the protests. In a statement, President Biden said the Cuban people have the same right to freedom of expression and peaceful assembly as all people. Miami Mayor Francis Suarez argues Cuba is not a priority of the Biden administration.
The Cuban people are defending themselves with rocks and sticks against guns and clubs. And so I've even called for things as dramatic as not taking off the table the possibility of some level of military intervention.
Jorge Duani is the director of the Cuban Research Institute at Florida International University. He says the Biden administration is trying to find the middle ground between the more open policies of the Obama administration and former President Trump's swift reversal.
Much of the calculus regarding what to do next with Cuba has to do with next year's midterm elections here in Florida. And I'm sure that's part of the discussion within the White House.
Duani also says the Biden administration's goal of restoring internet service to the island, which the communist government cut off after the uprisings, may be the best way to help protesters there keep the momentum going. Anne-Marie?
So, Manny, how can the U.S. government restore internet access to protesters against the will of the Cuban government?
That's, of course, the big question, and something the Biden administration says it's working to figure out, because it would be hard to do from the outside, and trying to do it from the inside, of course, lends itself to the government being able to circumvent or cut it off again. So that's something that's still really in the initial phases of trying to learn about the best way to do that. Some people have floated the idea of sending balloons up over the island as well, but the administration at this point seems to indicate that they're not convinced that would work, so they're still trying to weigh all their options.
You know, we've been watching in Miami your coverage of, all the Cubans coming out to support their fellow countrymen. Midterms were mentioned, next year's midterms. How vulnerable are the Florida Democrats who are up for re-election, and is focusing on the communist government in Cuba likely to help them?
Yeah, I think that many people look at this situation, and in the protests we have covered, it's very pro-Trump, very pro-Republican, and that's been the traditional view for many Cuban Americans, especially in the older generations of Cuban Americans here in Miami. So it's definitely a concern for Democrats going forward, and many have argued that the protests here in Florida really put the pressure on the Biden administration to come out and do something that really wasn't at the forefront of their foreign agenda.
I don't know if you want to call it vaccine diplomacy, but President Biden has said that he'd be happy to send COVID-19 vaccines to Cuba if an independent international organization administers the doses, not the Cuban state. What's the latest on that?
And that's the delicate dance here. He's also said that about remittances, the money that people send from the United States over to Cuba, as well as the vaccines. They're trying to figure out a way to restore the ability for people to send money back or for the vaccines to reach the island. But they don't want any of that to fall into the hands of the Cuban government, what many would say would just enrich the Cuban government and continue to maintain their grasp on power there. So that's, again, one of the things that's under discussion, under many of the panels that you imagine the administration has going on right now. They're talking to people on both sides of the aisles, and Cuban Americans here trying to figure out what the best way to do that might be.
All right, Manny, thank you.
Thank you.